Chapter 187, Who was the one singing? Di Baiming was very satisfied with Yun Chujia's reluctance to part with him, but his expression was cold. After I leave, stay away from that bird. Yun Chujio straightened her small body. Prince Charming, don't worry. I'll cultivate well and never get involved with that person. Stay away from those coquettish bitches. Di Baiming nodded and left with an Yin and an Feng. Of course, An Feng secretly returned to protect Yun Chujio. As soon as Di Baiming left, Yun Chujio started to show off, ha ha ha. The gigolo is finally gone. Let's go. Master will take you out to play. I'm a rich woman now. Yun Chujio had a rolling pin on her waist and little black on her shoulder. She swaggered out of the yard. Where should I go? Yun Chujio thought about it and decided to go to the library. I haven't been there even once. It'll be a good time to read some alchemy books. The reason why Yun Chujio had the idea of alchemy was that there had not been a single drop of rain recently, so there was naturally no lightning that could be absorbed. Yun Chujio thought hard for a few days and decided to learn alchemy. With the pill, she could feed it to the grass in her dantian. This way, the grass could release the power of lightning, and she could cultivate at any time. Although there was a risk in doing this, which was that the grass in her dantian might grow bigger and bigger, if she did not become stronger, she would be killed by it sooner or later. She might as well give it her all. As for whether she could learn it or not, it was not in her consideration. This girl had this kind of mysterious confidence. The Spirit Radiance Sect's library was located halfway up the Zhang Peak. After 2 hours, Yun Chujio happily hopped to the library on the Zhang Peak. The 2 outer sect disciples guarding the library were indignant when they saw Yun Chujio hopping over. However, the sect leader had given the order and had no choice but to let Yun Chujio enter. However, they stopped Little Black. Spiritual pets are either kept in the spiritual beast pouch or not allowed to be brought in, one of the tall servants said impatiently. Naturally, Yun Chujio did not have a spiritual beast pouch. Moreover, her storage ring could not hold any living things, so she could only instruct Little Black to wait for her on the tree next to the library. Little Black nodded and flew to a tree next to the library. Yun Chujio entered the library and was immediately shocked by the scene inside. The inside was about 10 mu of land. There were many bookshelves, and there were plenty of jade slips and paper books on them. Most of the people reading inside were servants. When they saw Yun Chujio enter, they whispered a few words and did not bother about her thereafter. Yun Chujio went to the alchemy library and began to read. Yun Chujio read very quickly, one book after another. In the end, she simply sat on the ground and read. After reading for a while, she heard the angry voice of the Little Black in her mind. Master! They bullied me. I want to burn them to death with a fireball. Yun Chujio was shocked. She quickly put down the book in her hand and rushed out. When Yun Chujio exited the library and saw the scene in front of her, she was so angry that she could explode. She saw 4 male outer sect disciples throwing pebbles at the Little Black bird, laughing as they did so. You unlucky fire-breathing crow, get lost. That's right. You're just like your master. You're so black, you've really disgraced our Spirit Radiance sect. Get lost. If you don't get lost, I'll beat you down and roast you. There were 2 pretty women standing beside these male disciples. When they saw the Little Black bird being forced to move back and forth on the branches, the 2 of them happily giggled. Pa! 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 Yun Chujio suddenly jumped forward and slapped each of the 4 male disciples. The 4 male disciples were looking up at the Little Black on the tree. Who would have thought that someone would rush over to hit them? They were slapped by Yun Chujio. Little Black saw Yun Chujio had come out and landed on Yun Chujio's shoulder. It was so angry that it cried out. WWWA, Master. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. If you didn't tell me not to expose myself, I would have burned them to ashes. Yun Chujo comforted Little Black's wings and then looked at the two women. Yun Chushan, Bai Moru, what are you doing? Chapter 188, You Can All Go Together. Yun Chushan did not expect Yun Chujo to come out so quickly. Her face was a bit embarrassed and she did not say anything. Bai Moru sneered, who was talking so loudly? Did you not know? This is the library, not the spirit pet garden. Your fire-breathing crow interfered with everyone's reading. Isn't it expected for us to chase it away? On the contrary, you blatantly beat up your fellow disciples. Yun Chujo, you're dead meat. Oh. It's really funny. My spiritual pet was perfectly fine on the tree. How was it disturbing others' reading? On the contrary, these people were screaming like cats in heat. It affected everyone. That's why I helped everyone to teach them a lesson. Yun Chujo crossed her arms and ridiculed them without a care. You're courting death. One of the male disciples saw that Yun Chujo had spoken really unpleasantly and proceeded to slap her. Yun Chujo lightly dodged the slap. Then, she jumped to the side of the two guarding disciples. Senior brother, they are making a ruckus here. Are you going to stop them? The two disciples did not want to stop them, but Yun Chujo asked, no noise outside the library. If you have a dispute, go and settle it somewhere else. Humph. Yun Chujo, I don't believe that you will stay in the library forever. Let's go. Bai Moru glared at Yun Chujo and left. Yun Chushan was Bai Moru's follower, so she naturally followed. As for the four male disciples, they either had feelings for Bai Moru or Yun Chushan, so they naturally followed. However, before they left, the four male disciples looked at Yun Chujo maliciously. It was obvious that they had bad intentions. Yun Chujo did not care about the threats from these scumbags at all. She comforted the little black bird for a while before returning to the library. Little Black was still in the library, so he did not dare to look at Yun Chujo anymore. As he walked, he thought to himself, looks like the next time the gigolo returns, he'll have to ask him for a spirit beast pouch. Yun Chujo was engrossed in her reading. It was not until the sky gradually darkened and the little black bird complained that it was hungry that Yun Chujo reluctantly came out of the library. Little Black did not want to see Yun Chujo anymore. It was a cloudy day and the rare little northern wind blew. Fortunately, Yun Chujo was wearing Di Baiming's clothes, so she did not feel cold. Master, do you think those dregs will stop us on the way? Little Black blinked its small eyes and asked. Of course. Recently, I've been bullied by the gigolos, so I can vent my anger on them. In a while, you can do this. Yun Chujia's lips curled up, and evil thoughts appeared again. Little Black's green bean eyes gleamed, laughing evilly. As expected, Yun Chujo had just walked out not too far when she saw Bai Moru and the rest waiting. Yun Chujo, you're finally willing to come out. Today, well, settle scores. Bai Moru's eyes seemed to be filled with poison as she stared fiercely at Yun Chujo. Bai Moru, you can't be heartless. If I hadn't kicked you a few dozen times back then, would you still be alive and kicking? You. Shut up. Senior Luo Feng, help me teach her a lesson. Bai Moru looked at a male disciple beside her. It was the one who wanted to beat Yun Chujo up during the day. Yun Chujo, I'm at level 5 spirit enhancement, and you're trash without any spirit energy. If you know what's good for you, just kneel and beg for mercy, maybe Junior Moru will be kind enough to spare you, Luo Feng said arrogantly. Is a level 5 spirit disciple really that great? You're so powerful, how come you're only an outer disciple? Forget it, you guys come at me together. Otherwise, people will think I'm bullying you. Yun Chujo tilted her head, her face filled with disdain. Chapter 189, Faster. Luo Feng was so angry he gritted his teeth. Yun Chujo. Aren't you afraid of over-exaggerating? Take this. Luo Feng rushed fiercely toward Yun Chujo. Who would have thought that he would crash heavily onto the ground? Due to the huge impact, the crash was extremely violent, causing him to see stars. Tisk, even if you know you're wrong, you don't have to give me such a huge gift. I told you, you guys are too weak. Come, come, come. All of you attack at the same time. Yun Chujio said proudly. The other 3 male disciples could not help but secretly look down on Luo Feng. What a shame. He actually fell down himself. Didn't he watch where he was going? 3 seniors, all of you attack together. This Yun Chujio has always been crafty. We need to end this quickly. It won't be good if others see us. Bai Moru saw the dark clouds gathering above, urging Wu Yun. The 3 male disciples looked at each other, grinning ferociously as they rushed toward Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio smiled coldly at them. Look at the hidden weapons. A big paper bag was thrown at the male disciple in front. The male disciple used his sword to block and the contents of the bag immediately flew out. Cough cough cough. My eyes. I'm choking. What the hell was that? Despicable. He actually used poison. Yun Chujio deliberately found the upper hand, so even Yun Chushan and Bai Moru, who were at the back, could not hide. They choked until their snot and tears flowed out. Yun Chujio brought Little Black and walked around them. TSK. Remember to bring your brains if you find trouble in the future. What a bunch of useless trash. Master, why do you still have chili noodles in your storage ring? The rolling pin had thought that it could show off his skills, but it did not expect its master to settle things with a bag of chili noodles. It was really amazing. Little Flame, don't underestimate this chili noodle. When I passed the entrance test, it was indispensable. The kitchen has a lot of this thing, and I still have 2 big bags in my storage ring. Yun Chujio said proudly. Master, then let's prepare more chili noodles in the future. The rolling pin felt that he had the right owner. This thing can be used to catch people off guard, but it will be very difficult to succeed next time. When I learn how to refine pills, it'll definitely make some powerful poisons. Yun Chujio's eyes shone, as if she had already seen the beautiful scene of herself using poisons to show off her skills. Rumble. The sound of thunder suddenly sounded in the sky. Yun Chujio looked up and saw that the dark clouds in the sky were gathering. She had an ominous premonition in her heart. Fuck. She felt that her spiritual power had increased. Was she going to advance to the next level? It was definitely too late for her to rush back to her own courtyard. She had to find a place where there was no one around. Otherwise, she would easily injure others. Yun Chujio saw that she was not far from Zhang Peak's back mountain, so she decided to jog all the way there. Yun Chujio ran into the forest not far from the back mountain, and a purple lightning bolt came down from the sky. This bolt of lightning was obviously a novice. When it saw the 2 targets, Little Black and Yun Chujio, it was a little confused. Which one should it strike? Yun Chujio shouted impatiently, if you want to strike, then do it quickly. I'm waiting to go back to sleep. What are you waiting for? The bolt of lightning was in a fit of anger. It did not hesitate and directly struck Yun Chujio. The rolling pin wanted to block it for Yun Chujio, but she threw it to the side. Watch carefully. This thing is good for me. The rolling pin was a little stunned, and it just stood there and watched. The purple lightning struck Yun Chujio, but Yun Chujio was not only fine, she even said with disdain, too weak. Too weak. It's not enough to fill the gaps between your teeth. Chapter 190, Strike More Vivaciously. Wu Yun was clearly caught off guard and quickly struck another bolt of lightning. Yun Chujio easily caught the bolt of lightning. She hugged her shoulders and curled her lips. It's too thin. The quality of your presence this time isn't that great. Probably caused by the defective lightning strikes. Wu Yun was furious and struck down 3 bolts of lightning at the same time. Little Black shouted, Master, give me one of them. I haven't replenished in a long time. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Fight for it yourself. These lightning bolts are all one-track minded. They can't even turn a corner. Little Black happily flew toward one of the lightning bolts and swallowed it. Wu Yun in the sky was trembling with anger. Where did these two weirdos come from? When they were out on a mission, they had never heard of such a weirdo in the Qingxian continent. Wu Yun originally wanted to save some heavenly lightning to strike down a mission target. In a fit of anger, he simply struck down dozens of lightning bolts. Yun Chujio was so happy that her eyes narrowed. She was worried that she did not have the power of lightning. Little Black snatched a few heavenly lightning bolts and swallowed them. The rest were all absorbed by Yun Chujio. To be exact, most of them were absorbed by the grass in Yun Chujio's dantian. Wu Yun saw that he had struck 13 times, but not only did he not kill the two of them, they were even more lively. He was so angry that he flew away. Yun Chujio curled her lips. This time, it was really too weak. Even my clothes weren't damaged. Master, you're right. Compared to the entrance test, this is vastly different. The rolling pin was stunned. It seemed to understand why little Huahua chose Yun Chujio as her personal disciple. She was too freakish. Although the thunder root spirit was relatively rare, Yun Chujio's condition could not be explained with that. Directly devouring the thunder spirit energy was unheard of, absolutely unheard of. Plus, that dark bird. No wonder it could spit out a fireball with the power of thunder and lightning, it was also a freak. Sobs. It had previously scolded that bird before. If it had known that it was so weird, it would not have provoked it. It was not known if it would be too late to rectify things then. Yun Chujio checked her spiritual power and sure enough, it had risen to the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. She smiled and waved at the rolling pin. Little flame, let's retreat. Otherwise, it'll be bad if someone comes to check on us later. The rolling pin was very obedient and flew into Yun Chujio's hand. Yun Chujio ran to the edge of the forest and met a few elders who came to check on her. Coincidentally, these elders all knew Yun Chujio's identity as a little ancestor. The elders looked at each other. One of the elders coughed dryly and said, "Why are you here?" Yun Chujio was delighted. This old man was quite polite. He actually needed her. "Hello, elders. I came out of the library and saw a wind-blade rabbit. I chased it into the forest. Unfortunately, it ran too fast and I couldn't catch it." Yun Chujio was very smart. She did not have Master Xuanyuan's support there, so she naturally would not put on airs. There were several heavenly lightning bolts just now. They didn't hurt you, right? Seeing that Yun Chujio was tactful, the elder felt a little better. "No. I didn't do anything bad. Those bolts of lightning won't hit me." Yun Chujio straightened her small body and said confidently. Although the rolling pin had already experienced Yun Chujio's nonsense, it was still shocked by her ability to lie through her teeth. "Master, you're too shameless." Chapter 191, Watching the little spiritual beast. The few elders did not know how to respond. They laughed dryly and were about to leave. At that moment, one of the elders saw the rolling pin on Yun Chujio's waist and asked curiously, Is this the rod from that day? Did you notice anything unusual about it?" Yun Chujio held the rolling pin in her hand. "Nothing unusual, but I felt that the rolling pin was a little heavy, so I made it lighter." "You mean, it can freely change its weight?" one of the elders exclaimed. "Wasn't it already determined that it was an ordinary mortal weapon?" "Yes, it's crazy. Sometimes it can grow longer, and sometimes it can't. It's probably because it lacks spiritual power," Yun Chujio said half-truthfully. Suddenly, Yun Chujio staggered and almost fell. Fortunately, she held on to a tree next to her, so she did not fall. Yun Chujio smiled and handed the rolling pin over. "Here, Take a look. The elders had long wanted to borrow it to take a look, and it was the time to do it. They took the rolling pin and looked at it for a long time. No matter how they looked at it, it did not have any spiritual power at all, it was just an ordinary rod. The elders awkwardly returned the rolling pin to Yun Chujio. After saying a few polite words, they went into the forest to check the surroundings. Little fellow. Want to play tricks on me? I'm the ancestor of deceit. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Only then did she let the little silver dragon, which had hidden between her brows, return to the rod. In the next few days, whenever she had time to rest, Yun Chujio would run to the library. It was unsure if Moru and the others were too choked by the chili noodles or if they were delayed by other matters. In any case, they had not come looking for trouble with Yun Chujio for a few days, so Yun Chujio could not be bothered with them. That morning, Feng Ming arrived with a smile on his face. Junior sister little Jiu, why don't you rest today? Let's go, I'll bring you to see the little spirit beasts. Yun Chujio originally wanted to go to the library, but after thinking for a while, she agreed. It was also good to go to the spirit beast garden. In any case, she had not seen many spirit beasts before, so she thought it would be good to broaden her horizons. Feng Ming brought Yun Chujio to the spirit beast garden on the West Peak. Although Feng Ming was not a disciple of the West Peak, he relied on his reputation to travel unimpeded. Yun Chujio could not help but think sourly, this world truly revolves around the attractiveness of one's face. She was still young. After a few years, she would also be a peerless beauty. Very soon, the two of them arrived at the Spirit Beast Garden on the West Peak. The Spirit Beast Garden was located halfway up West Peak. Due to the recent birth of a few small spirit beasts, many female disciples were there to see them. When those female disciples saw Feng Ming, they immediately became shy, and some of the braver ones even came to strike up a conversation. Senior brother Feng Ming, you're also here to see the spirit beasts? Feng Ming smiled faintly. I came with junior sister little Jiu. Feng Ming's words undoubtedly attracted a lot of envious and jealous gazes at Yun Chujio. If those women's gazes could turn into arrows, Yun Chujio would have already become a porcupine by then. Yun Chujio secretly complained in her heart, but a bright and beautiful smile appeared on her face. Hello, senior sisters. Senior brother Feng Ming is just like my biological brother. He has always taken good care of me. Seeing that I'm not in a good mood recently, he brought me here to look. When the women heard the words, just like my own brother, they immediately understood the hidden meaning. Their metaphorical arrows suddenly turned to sugar. Junior sister little Jiu, senior brother Feng Ming is right. You should come out more often. In the future, if you have nothing to do, you can visit us. Junior sister little Jiu, take these small snacks. When you grow up, it'll be more nourishing. Little ninth junior sister, what kind of small spirit beasts do you like? Let me introduce them to you. Luo Feng was already blinded by hatred, so he pushed instead, pushing both Yun Chujio and Su Yun down. All of this happened in a flash, so when everyone reacted, Yun Chujio and Su Yun had already fallen to the bottom of the pit. Luckily the two of them happened to land on the mighty elephant nest, which was covered with a thick layer of hay, hence they did not get hurt. Su Yun was so scared that her legs went soft as she grabbed Yun Chujio's arm tightly. Little sister Jiu, I'm sorry, I'm the one who dragged you down, Su Yun said guiltily. Yun Chujio sighed and thought to herself, it's not you who dragged me down. It's clearly me who dragged you down. Senior sister Su, let's talk about this outside. Right now, the most important thing is to get out alive. Su Yun said with a sobbing voice, I'm afraid we won't be able to live. An adult mighty elephant is a spiritual beast of the 8th level, which is equivalent to a human of the 9th level. The two of us together can't even defeat that small one. Chapter 193, be a good boy and eat candy. Feng Ming was so worried that he went crazy. He punched Luo Feng to the ground. Are you crazy? You're killing your fellow disciples. It's a capital offense. Hurry up and think of a way to save them. Luo Feng was starting to regret it. He was too blinded by wanting to vent his anger. If someone really died, he would not be able to live. Independent Illinois, go find Manager Gu immediately. Luo Feng scrambled to find Manager Gu, who was one of the 3 beast tamers. Feng Ming's eyes were red from anxiety. He wanted to jump down and save her. Even though it would be useless if he went, he was the one who brought his junior there. He could not just watch her get into trouble, especially since this was little ancestor Yun. However, he did not expect that Luo Feng would have closed the opening before he left. Feng Ming was furious. He cursed and wanted to tear Luo Feng into pieces. However, being anxious was useless and he could only look down helplessly. The 5 mighty elephants saw Yun Chuzhou and Su Yun, and their eyes gleamed fiercely. None of the beasts were willing to become humans' spiritual pets. After being kept in captivity for so long, they hated humans to the bone. Now that 2 people had fallen in, how could they let them go? Little Black stood on Yun Chuzhou's shoulder and cried out, "Master, it seems that we can only expose ourselves. Otherwise, we'll have to give up our little lives. Wait a little longer. If we have no other choice, we will attack again." Yun Chuzhou pulled Su Yun behind her and waved at the young elephant. Although it was a cub, it was actually the size of an ordinary horse. The cub was just curious. When it saw the young human in front of it waving at it, it ran over. A few adult elephants felt that Yun Chuzhou and Su Yun were too weak, so they did not stop it and let the cub play with them. Yun Chuzhou took out a handful of candy from her storage ring and threw it to the baby elephant. It smelled it in confusion, licked it with its tongue, and then ate it. After eating it, it shook its long trunk, obviously finding it very delicious. The baby elephant barked at Yun Chuzhou a few times, obviously wanting to eat more. Yun Chuzhou took out a handful of candies from her bosom and threw it to the baby elephant. The baby elephant used its long trunk to roll up the candies and fed it to the 5 adults beside it. Yun Chuzhou thought to herself, who knew this baby elephant would be so filial? Little Black was about to cry. The situation is so dire. Why are you still thinking about these things? You don't have many candies in your storage ring, let's see what you'll do when you're done feeding them. Sure enough, when the cub saw that the candies on the ground were gone, it roared at Yun Chuzhou with dissatisfaction. Yun Chuzhou had no choice but to throw out another handful of candies. After doing that a few times, the candies in Yun Chuzhou's storage ring were gone. There were still some buns and things like that in her storage ring, but if she took them out, it would expose her storage ring. Yun Chuzhou, this money grubber, naturally could not bear to part with them. Just as she was about to clash head-on, Su Yun said weakly, "Little sister Jo. I still have some candy here." Yun Chuzhou took the candy that Su Yun handed over, and held on for a while longer. In the end, she even threw out the dry food in Su Yun's storage bag, yet Luo Feng still had not returned. Feng Ming gritted his teeth. Did this guy go on a business trip? Little sister Jo, you hold on for a while longer. I'll go find Manager Zhu and Manager Zhou. Feng Ming rode his blade and hurriedly went to find the other 2 beast tamers. The mighty elephant cub roared a few times. Seeing that Yun Chuzhou did not throw anything over, it was instantly enraged. It ran toward Yun Chuzhou and swung its long nose toward her. Chapter 194, Opportunities are reserved for the prepared beast. The little black bird hurriedly cried out a few times. The cub's front legs went weak, and with a thunk, it fell to the ground. The shaking cub got up and ran to one of the adult elephant's legs and rubbed against it, obviously feeling a little scared. "Master, I can only use this curse once a day. What should we do next?" Yun Chuzhou felt that even if she and Little Black used their true strength, they would not be able to deal with so many powerful level 8 beasts. What should she do? Yun Chuzhou used her spiritual sense to scan the storage ring and found a handful of golden fur. She remembered that this was the tiger fur of Elder Shao's spiritual pet, the gold-spotted scarlet flame tiger. Yun Chuzhou was desperate, so she pretended to take out the tiger fur from her bosom. Don't push your luck. I'm hiding something. This is just to show off my power. See? This is the tiger fur of the gold-spotted scarlet flame tiger. If I dare to pull off the tiger fur, I'm not afraid of you. You have to think about the consequences. If you eat us, you won't be able to recover. Yun Chuzhou said as she blew the tiger fur forward. When the mighty elephants saw their cubs fall for no reason, they were a little surprised. Now that they saw the gold-spotted scarlet flame tiger's fur, they became even more suspicious. These beasts already had intelligence. Although they could not speak human language, they could still understand it. When Yun Chuzhou saw that they did not come forward anymore, she felt a little more confident. She straightened her back and said, "Besides, we don't have much meat in total. Even if you eat us, we'll only be enough to fill the gaps between your teeth. Why bother? By then, your little lives will be gone. Not to mention this cute little elephant. It just came to this world, and you have the heart to take away its life just like that? It hasn't seen the outside world yet, and it hasn't found a life partner yet. How can you be so heartless to harm it just because of 2 mouthfuls of meat?" Yun Chuzhou did not dare to stop and could only talk desperately to stall for time. Impulsiveness is the devil, don't be impulsive. Our meat is not as delicious as those rabbit meat, and am also a waste with no spiritual power. I heard that it was because I was poisoned when I was in my mother's womb. Aren't you afraid of being poisoned by me? You've lived for so many years, and that's enough. But, if that little elephant is poisoned after eating my meat, I really can't live with my conscience. The few elephants realized that the black girl who spoke was really a good-for-nothing without any spiritual power, so they believed Yun Chuzhou's words a little more. If her meat was poisoned, it really could not be eaten. Besides, we have a common enemy. The reason why we were pushed down is because we don't like them keeping you demon beasts here. You're free, and you belong to the demon beast forest. How can you be kept here as human spiritual pets? We told the truth, so we were hated by them. That disciple who fed you pushed us down to vent his anger. If you really kill us, then it would be the kinsman who bear the pain and the enemy who rejoices. Su Yun, who was hiding in the back, was completely dumbfounded. Putting aside whether Yun Chuzhou was brave or not, how did she come up with these excuses? One set after another. To be honest, if I were a mighty elephant, I would have believed it. What she said was really deep and heartfelt, causing the beast to shed tears. As expected, Yun Chuzhou's words had touched the hearts of the mighty elephants. What they could not bear the most was being imprisoned by others. This made a day felt like a year. My lord's elephants. There is a saying, it is never too late for the demonic beasts to take revenge. If I were you, I would cultivate properly here. There are people waiting on me here, and the spiritual energy is still dense. Since I can't get out anyway, I might as well cultivate diligently. Opportunities are reserved for beasts who are prepared, don't you think so? When Feng Ming brought the 2 beast tamers over, he saw Yun Chuzhou standing there with her small hands behind her back, babbling non-stop. Then, the mighty elephants kept nodding their huge heads, seemingly agreeing with Yun Chuzhou's words. Chapter 195, What the hell happened? Feng Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? What on earth happened? Before he left, those mighty elephants wanted to eat junior sister Zhou. How did they get along with each other in such a short time? How did junior sister Zhou do it? That Yun Chuzhou is also a beast tamer? Manager Zhou was also confused and asked Feng Ming. Feng Ming shook his head. Little ninth junior sister can't cultivate. She doesn't have any spiritual power. That's strange. Even if old Zhu and I used the beast tamer ring to control her, these mighty elephants would be very irritable. Why are they so docile now? Zhou muttered to himself. Before Manager Zhou finished his words, many people came to his side. Greetings, Sect Master. Greetings to all the peak masters and elders. The surrounding people bowed and greeted him. Master Xianyuan frowned and waved his hand. Yun Chuzhou fell down. Why aren't you saving her? What are you waiting for? No one expected that this matter would alarm the sect master, the peak master, and so many elders. Although disciples were in danger and the higher-ups would pay attention to them, there would not be so many people attending to it, right? Master Xianyuan and the 5 peak masters had actually come. Could it be that Su Yun or Yun Chuzhou had a background? It did not seem like it. Su Yun was just an ordinary outer sect disciple. What was more Yun Chuzhou? She was just a measly servant. It must be because of senior brother Feng Ming. Senior brother Feng Ming must be the true disciple of Middle Peak. It must have been senior brother Feng Ming who invited those people there. Senior brother Feng Ming really treated Yun Chuzhou very well. Manager Zhou hurriedly came over to explain, reporting to Sect Master, Old Zhu, and I also just arrived. We originally wanted to go down and save them, but this situation seems to be a little special. Manager Zhou pointed below. Master Xianyuan and the elders looked in the direction that Manager Zhou pointed. Then, everyone was in chaos. What was going on? Did they not say that mighty elephants were extremely ferocious? Why did those behemoths look as docile as puppies in front of Yun Chuzhou? Yun Chuzhou also glanced at Master Xianyuan and the others. She cursed in her heart, fuck. My saliva is about to dry, and you guys are still not coming down. Isn't it too much to just watch? This is too much. Yun Chuzhou changed the topic and pointed at the top. She said to the elephants, look up, there are so many experts here. Who would believe that this isn't a trap? The person who fed you wants to use your claws to kill me, and then kill you all at the same time. What a vicious heart. Although the elephants did not know the peak master of the sect, they could feel the level of their spiritual power. They believed Yun Chuzhou's words without a doubt. They were glad that they did not fall for their trick, or else none of them would have survived. Master Xianyuan and the others had high spiritual power. Although Yun Chuzhou's voice was not loud, they could still hear her clearly. The corners of their eyes twitched, and their hearts felt like thousands of divine beasts whizzing past. Master Xianyuan coughed dryly. Open the formation. Elder Chu, Elder Shao, you two go down and bring Yun Chuzhou and that disciple up. Manager Zhou and Manager Zhu opened the formation, and Elder Chu and Elder Shao jumped to the bottom of the pit. Those mighty elephants saw that Elder Chu and Elder Shao had profound spiritual power, and there were so many experts above them. They naturally would not provoke them and let them save Yun Chuzhou and Su Yun. Yun Chuzhou was still shouting in the air, remember my words. Cultivate well. I will come to see you. The mighty elephants howled a few times in response to Yun Chuzhou. Chapter 196, The Spirit Radiance Sect will be proud of me, Yun Chuzhou. When Su Yun heard Yun Chuzhou's words, she was on the verge of breaking down. If you want to come, come yourself. In the future, she will never visit again. When she reached the top, Yun Chuzhou's expression immediately changed, she burst into tears. Sect Master, you have to make a decision for me and senior sister Su Yun. We've been harmed so miserably. If it weren't for senior sister Su Yun and I carrying some candies, we would already be choking on our farts right now, Yun Chuzhou cried as she pulled on Su Yun's sleeve. Su Yun was scared silly by Yun Chuzhou's face-changing technique. She was stunned for a moment before crying, I beg Master to help me. The corner of Master Zuanyuan's eyes twitched. What's going on? Yun Chuzhou used her sleeve to eyes. Master, Senior Su, and I were just looking at the little spirit beasts. I didn't expect that disciple called Luo Feng to actually push Senior Su. I subconsciously wanted to pull her back. I didn't expect that crazy Luo Feng to actually push both of us into the beast's nest. Sob sob, I'm very timid. I was almost scared to death. My little heart is jumping out of my chest, everyone's faces froze. Yun Chuzhou, are you really not afraid of being struck by lightning? You're timid. You were almost scared to death. Why didn't we see it? Why do we feel that you're jumping around happily? Just now, who was the one who shouted that she would come again in the future? Master Xianyuan coughed dryly. Elder Xiao, the incident happened on the West Peak, you should handle this. Even though Elder Xiao did not like Yun Chuzhou, the evidence was conclusive and there was nothing to be biased about. He immediately asked the disciples present, and sure enough, what they said was identical to Yun Chuzhou's statement. Elder Xiao was about to send someone to capture Luo Feng, when someone came over to report that he wanted to escape the sect, and had already been detained by the disciples guarding the sect. The more Luo Feng thought about it, the more scared he became. The mighty elephant is a level 8 demon beast. By the time I get Elder Gu here, Yun Chuzhou and the others will already be dead. I might as well take advantage of the fact that this matter hasn't blown up and run away. He originally planned to get out of the sect, but he did not expect the disciples guarding the sect to be so dedicated. When they saw Luo Feng's panicked expression and the fact that he had not even left the sect, they immediately detained him. Elder Xiao simply got someone to bring Luo Feng there for a public hearing. Many disciples received the news and rushed over, whispering amongst themselves. Luo Feng saw that Yun Chuzhou and Su Yun were not dead. He could not help but feel a little lucky. If they were not dead, then he did not have to die. Luo Feng, why did you push Su Yun and Yun Chuzhou into the beast's nest? What grudge do you have with them? Elder Xiao's expression was dark, staring hard at Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked viciously at Yun Chuzhou. I don't have a personal grudge with Su Yun. I just don't like the fact that trash like Yun Chuzhou could enter our Spirit Radiance sect. I originally wanted to push Yun Chuzhou down, I didn't expect to push Su Yun down by mistake. Elder Xiao, even though I was wrong, Yun Chuzhou is still trash. How did she not only enter the Spirit Radiance sect, but also gain access to the library? I'm not convinced. I believe everyone isn't convinced either. Luo Feng's words obviously resonated with some people. Right. How could trash like Yun Chuzhou be in the same sect as us geniuses? Yun Chuzhou's eyes deepened. Leader, Elder Xiao, can I speak my mind? Master Xianyuan nodded. Sure, go ahead. Yun Chuzhou straightened her little body, and with a serious expression, she said, I don't know if there's anyone else who shares the same thoughts as Luo Feng. Yes, I'm quite useless, I admit. However, I'm the same as you guys, I passed 3 rounds of the entrance exam and got in fair and square. Luo Feng, you despise me for being useless? Isn't this just the pot calling the kettle black? If Senior Feng Ming and the other geniuses look at you the same way, you're just trash too. What right do you have to look down on me? Besides, the library access was given to me by the head. Do you think the head's IQ is lower than yours? Why would he give me this authority for no reason? Southern Jade Square is the 10,000-year-old foundation of our Spirit Radiance sect. Even though I only found a few small holes, I indirectly saved our Spirit Radiance sect's reputation. Is our reputation not worth the access authority of a library? Lastly, I'll tell you one thing, don't bully the young and poor. I, Yun Chuzhou, am trash today, but it doesn't mean that I'll always be trash. One day, the Spirit Radiance sect will be proud of me, Yun Chuzhou. Chapter 197 was full of bad intentions. Perhaps it was because Yun Chuzhou's incongruous image was too deeply rooted in people's hearts that she suddenly became serious. Everyone was still a little unaccustomed to it. In short, after Yun Chujio finished speaking, everyone was strangely quiet. Yun Chujio touched her nose. Could it be that she was acting too much? Good. Well said. I admire such a young woman who is so motivated. Elder Chu stroked his beard with a face full of praise. I told you, this Yun Chujio is promising. Alright, he had long forgotten who was the one who said that Yun Chujio was a small fry. Master Xianyuan nodded. Not to mention, even though Yun Chujio was usually carefree, she was still quite imposing at the crucial moments. Her words just now were reasonable, and even more imposing, not bad. The surrounding disciples, after hearing Yun Chujio's words, could not help but feel a little ashamed. They had indeed always looked down on Yun Chujio, thinking that she had gotten into the Spirit Radiance sect by accident. Luo Feng's face was deathly pale, kneeling on the ground and begging Elder Shao for mercy. Elder Shao, I was momentarily blinded and did something wrong. Seeing that the two of them are safe and sound, please forgive me. Elder Shao snorted coldly. They're fine, but that's because they were lucky. It doesn't absolve you of your mistakes. Your heart is vicious. Harming your fellow disciples like that. Men, take him away. Kill him. Junior Su, Junior Yun, save me. Please save me. Luo Feng could not help but kowtow to Su Yun and Yun Chujio. Su Yun naturally did not want to spare Luo Feng, but she was afraid that others would say she did not care about the friendship between her fellow disciples, hence she was in a dilemma. Su Yun looked at Yun Chujio with an unsure expression. After the beast nest incident earlier, she unconsciously started to rely on Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Elder Shao, after all, we're from the same sect. Even though he isn't kind, Sister Su and I can't be unrighteous. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, thinking to himself, what a little girl. Indeed her heart softened after I said a few good words. After I escape this time, I'll definitely find a chance to take revenge. The surrounding spectators all exclaimed. Yun Chujio was a little girl after all, she was indeed kind through and through. Even though her personality was kind, it would be hard for her to have any future. Elder Shao looked at Yun Chujio noncommittally. Then, how do you want to deal with Luo Feng? Yun Chujio's face was filled with embarrassment. Senior Su and I are soft-hearted, but Luo Feng has made a huge mistake, so we can't not punish him. How about this? Well, give him a taste of his own medicine. Didn't he push me and Senior Su into the beast's nest? Then well, just push him into it as well. If within an hour, he's safe and sound, then Senior Su and I will let bygones be bygones. Luo Feng, what do you think? Luo Feng did not know the cause and effect. He thought that since the mighty elephants did not harm Yun Chujio and the others, it would not harm him. After all, he had been feeding them and was considered an acquaintance. Hence, he hurriedly said, I agree. I agree. If the elephants eat me, I have no complaints. The elders including Master Xianyuan lit a candle for Luo Feng. The mighty elephants hated Luo Feng to death. If Luo Feng were to jump down, they would definitely stomp him into meat paste. Yun Chujio was really full of evil tricks. The best part was that even if you jumped into her trap, you would still be grateful to her. Could it be that ancestral Master Linghua had taken a liking to her? Elder Shao looked at Luo Feng with a complicated expression. Are you sure? Yes. Yes. I'm willing to jump down myself. Luo Feng was afraid that Elder Shao would not allow it, so he quickly exclaimed. Elder Shao nodded. If that's the case, you can jump. You have to bear the consequences. Chapter 198 was like seeing a ghost. Manager Zhou opened an opening in the array and Luo Feng could not wait to jump down. He was thinking in his heart, there were so many powerful beings up there, those mammoths would definitely be wary. As long as he lasted for an hour, he would be able to escape this calamity. Luo Feng landed on the dry grass at the bottom. After getting up, he smiled at the mite elephants. I'm just feeding you normally. Luo Feng had not even finished speaking when one of the mighty elephants angrily used its long trunk to pick him up, fiercely slamming him against the stone wall. The other 4 mighty elephants also angrily took turns to do so. It was this hateful human. They almost fell for his trick. If it was not for that kind little girl, they would have been succeeded by this shameless person. Kill him. How could Luo Feng endure this torment? Very soon, he died. Yun Chuzhou sighed. Sigh, Senior Su, we've already tried our best. However, those mighty elephants probably saw that Luo Feng wasn't as good-looking as the 2 of us, so they killed him in a fit of anger. This is his life. Let's not feel guilty about it. Su Yun was already in a daze, nodding her head. Master Xianyuan and the other elders' expressions froze, thinking to themselves, this Yun Chuzhou was really a little demon who could eat people without spitting out their bones. If she really got into the top 10 of the trials, one could imagine that with such a little ancestor, their spirit radiance sect's days would definitely be exciting. The surrounding disciples looked at Luo Feng's miserable state and could not help but look fearfully at the sighing Yun Chuzhou. In their hearts, they raised Yun Chuzhou's danger level to 5 stars. Even though this Yun Chuzhou did not have any spirit energy, she had a gut full of evil. It was better to not provoke her in the future. Master Xianyuan and the other elders all left after seeing that the matter had been settled. Yun Chuzhou bowed to Su Yun. Senior Su, I've implicated you today, causing you to suffer an unexpected disaster. If there's a chance in the future, I'll definitely make it up to you. Su Yun immediately said, Little Sister Jiu, this is all that Luo Feng's fault. It has nothing to do with you, so you don't have to take it to heart. Su Yun thought, what a joke. Not only do I not blame Yun Chuzhou, even if I did, I wouldn't dare to say it. This fellow has a gut full of evil, I wouldn't dare to offend her. Yun Chuzhou smiled, after which she jumped in front of Feng Ming. Feng Ming, let's go. Let's continue watching the little beasts. Feng Ming nodded dumbly. He felt that he could no longer see through this little sister Jiu. Normally, her personality was jumpy and muddled, but every time it came to a critical moment, she would always be able to surprise and win. On top of that, her courage was shocking. Not even mentioning anything else, those were 5 8th grade mighty elephants. If it were any other ordinary disciple, they would have long been scared silly. However, she was able to survive just by opening her mouth. Moreover, from the looks of it, those 5 mighty elephants were still reluctant to part with her. She was really a ghost. A muddle-headed Feng Ming accompanied Yun Chuzhou to look at a few more types of spirit beasts. After sending Yun Chuzhou back to her dormitory, he bade her farewell and left. After the incident at the Spirit Beast Garden, Yun Chuzhou could be considered to be absolutely famous. Even the 2 disciples guarding the library were much more polite to Yun Chuzhou, afraid that she would use their actions against them. Other than working, Yun Chuzhou spent the rest of her time in the library. Although she had a photographic memory, Spirit Radiant Sect's library had a vast collection of books. In half a month's time, she had only read the books on alchemy on the 2 floors of the library. However, this was enough information for Yun Chuzhou to use. This fellow decided to start refining pills. Chapter 199, Let Others Talk About It. Yun Chuzhou decided to refine the simplest hemostatic pill first. The medicinal herbs needed for the hemostatic pill were all low-grade yellow category medicinal herbs, which were available in the back mountains of the Spirit Radiance sect. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou began to sweep and plunder the area. After gathering a few hundred sets of medicinal herbs, Yun Chuzhou informed Elder Huang in advance and stated that she would be joining a few classes. Elder Huang now found Yun Chuzhou to be very pleasing to the eye, so he naturally agreed without hesitating. Yun Chuzhou then found Yun Chuzi and said that she would be going to the alchemy room to stay for a few days. She also entrusted Little Black to him to take care of. Although Yun Chuzi was confused, but out of blind trust in Yun Chujio, he just let her be. After Yun Chujio arranged everything, she swaggered out of the alchemy room with a big bag on her back. The disciples guarding the door had seen Yun Chujio before, and now they even knew that this little girl was known for her wickedness. They asked politely, "Junior sister little Jio, who are you bringing food to?" Yun Chujio bared her teeth. "Hello, senior brothers. I'm here to rent the alchemy room." The two disciples were stunned. "You? Rent the alchemy room? What for?" Yun Chujio pointed at the bag behind her. "I'm naturally here to refine pills." The two disciples almost laughed until they passed out. If they were not afraid of Yun Chujio's evil ways, the two of them would have rolled on the floor laughing. Junior sister little Jio, are you joking? Pill refinement requires the use of spiritual power to form seals. How can you form seals without spiritual power? If you don't add spiritual power, it's impossible to form a pill, one of the disciples said while holding his stomach and trying not to laugh. If I can't refine it, then so be it. I'm just playing around. Yun Chujio said nonchalantly. Alright, since you insist, then go in. Ask Manager Gao for spiritual stones to register and you can rent the pill refinement room. The two guards thought to themselves. This Yun Chujio was really a little girl. She had money and nowhere to spend it. 5 spiritual stones were wasted just like that. Yun Chujio entered the alchemy room and found the manager's room. Who is Manager Gao? I want to rent the alchemy room. Yun Chujio saw that there were a few people inside, so she asked. One of the slightly hunchbacked old men looked at Yun Chujio and said, I am. You want to rent the alchemy room? Yun Chujio nodded, took out 30 spirit stones from her bosom, and handed it to the old man. This is for 6 days. If I can't finish it, I'll use it again next time. Ha! The world has really changed. Even a trash without spiritual power has to refine pills. Senior brother Ding Lang, don't you think it's funny? A disciple with a garlic-shaped nose said with a sneer. Maybe the fire in the big kitchen is not strong enough. It's better to roast sweet potatoes with the earth fire in the alchemy room. A male disciple said arrogantly. Yun Chujio glanced at the male disciple who spoke. Ding Lang. Manager Ding's biological brother. He looked much younger than Manager Ding. It was probably because of his high spiritual power. Ha, senior brother Ding is right. Little girl, don't tell me you're carrying a bag full of sweet potatoes. This earth fire isn't a joke. Be careful that you don't roast the sweet potatoes. Instead, it will make you darker. Exactly. A trash without spiritual power actually wants to refine pills. What a fantasy. The hunchbacked old man did not say anything. After registering, he handed Yun Chujio a jade token. Pill refining room number 2. Yun Chujio took the jade token, thanked him, and left the room with a big bag on her back. As for the sarcasm, in Yun Chujio's eyes, it was like a disguised encouragement. Focus on refining one's pills. Let others talk about it. Chapter 200, Furnace Explosion. Yun Chujio arrived at the alchemy room number 2, inserted the jade token into the groove, and pushed the door open to enter. Although it was called an alchemy room, it was actually divided into 2 rooms. The outside was an alchemy furnace, and the inside was a living room. Tables, beds, and other daily necessities were all available. Moreover, there was a spirit stone slot in the middle of the outer room. Once the spirit stones were stuffed in, the isolation formation could be activated. This way, the noise and medicinal fragrance in the room would not waft out. Yun Chujio was a stingy person. Naturally, she would not waste a single spirit stone, so she did not activate the isolation formation. Yun Chujio curiously picked up the alchemy furnace in the alchemy room and looked at it. Her mouth twitched. It was definitely not as high-class a furnace that the gigolo gave her. However, she should just use this as a start. There was a pipe under the alchemy furnace that led directly to the underground, and there was a wrench on top of it. It must be the earth fire. Yun Chujio took out a part of the medicinal herbs in the bag and began to refine the hemostasis pill according to the steps. First, she put in 2 portions of Stephania plant, then half the amount of lotus seeds, and then put in a portion of Tsingling Virginia rhizome. Yun Chujio began to seal and inject her spiritual power. Then, with a bang, the entire alchemy furnace exploded into 2 halves. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and quickly pushed the door open to run out. She ran into the crowd who heard the noise and rushed over. Manager Gao. What kind of lousy alchemy room did you arrange for me? It's defective. If I wasn't smart, I would have been killed by the explosion. Yun Chujio was afraid that Manager Gao would ask her to compensate, so she simply came to complain first. Manager Gao frowned and walked into the alchemy room to check. The ground was full of medicinal herbs, and the alchemy furnace had been blown into 2 halves. Manager Gao was stunned. Could it really be that there was something wrong with this alchemy furnace? Looking at Yun Chujio's aggrieved and innocent look, he was even more certain in his heart. Perhaps it was the disciple who had caused the explosion last time, but the cracks were not obvious, and the disciples who checked did not find it. Once the earth fire was heated, the furnace exploded. Yun Chujio, it was our alchemy room's negligence this time. How about this? You go to alchemy room number 12. We'll give you a free day. Manager Gao took out a jade token from his storage bag and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio sighed. Alright. I'm not uptight, so let's do that. Yun Chujio put the scattered medicinal herbs into the sack and went to alchemy room number 12. Once she entered the alchemy room, Yun Chujio closed the door and patted her chest twice. It was a close call. She almost lost her fortune. Anyhow, why did the alchemy furnace explode? Was it really caused by her? It should not be. She did everything according to the steps in the book. Yun Chujio started the alchemy again according to the steps. First, she put in 2 portions of Stephania plant, then half the amount of lotus seeds, and then put in a portion of Tsingling Virginia rhizome. She formed a seal and injected her spiritual power. Then, with a bang, the entire alchemy furnace exploded into 2 halves again. Yun Chujio was dumbfounded. However, when Manager Gao and the others arrived, this guy already had a face full of indignation. Manager Gao, did you do it on purpose? Why is it like this again? I worked hard to pick these herbs one by one. Now, I've wasted so much. Manager Gao picked up the fragments on the ground and looked at them. They were almost identical to the previous room. What was going on? Could it be that Yun Chujio had really bad luck? I'll change another room for you. I'll give you another free day. Manager Gao took out a jade token and opened alchemy room number 13. Manager Gao did not turn around and leave. Instead, he picked up the alchemy furnace and examined it carefully. Then he said, "This alchemy furnace is intact. You can use it without worry." Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. It was in good condition. She was not at ease. If it exploded again, how would she excuse herself? Chapter 201, Treat It Like Candy. Yun Chujio was a little hesitant. If she had followed the previous method, this alchemy furnace would definitely explode. At that time, she might even have to compensate them with 3 alchemy furnaces. This was too much of a loss. What was the problem? The rolling pin said weakly, "Master. Perhaps your thunder spirit energy is too violent. These ordinary alchemy furnaces simply can't withstand it." Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. "Little Hua, you're quite smart." "Yes, that's very likely the reason. I'll try to use less spirit energy this time." Yun Chujio took out a spirit stone and stuffed it into the isolation array. If it exploded again, I must not let others find out about it yet. It'll only go out after I think of a foolproof plan. Yun Chujo once again followed the steps to put in the spirit medicine and then injected the spirit energy into the pill furnace bit by bit. The furnace actually did not explode this time. However, the first refinement failed. There was only a pile of black remnants in the pill furnace. Not a single pill was formed. Yun Chujo was not discouraged. At least the pill furnace did not explode. There was still something to be gained. Once. Twice. 3 times. 10 times. 30 times. Yun Chujo continued to refine, as if she was possessed. In fact, during the third batch, Yun Chujo had already successfully refined 6 hemostasis pills. If others were to see that, they would definitely exclaim that such talent was simply heaven-defying. How many beginners had failed more than 1,000 times before they were able to successfully refine 2 or 3 pills? After thousands of practice, they were able to raise the pill success rate to 60%. Yet, Yun Chujo successfully refined the pill on the 3rd try, and what was more, it was at a 60% success rate. She was simply a monster. While refining the pill, Yun Chujo stuffed it into her mouth as if she was eating candy. While eating, she muttered, this furnace is a little too hot. This has too much 1,000 gold vine. Yes, the impurities in this furnace aren't completely purified. After Yun Chujo ate a few cauldrons of pills, she gradually had a vague idea of what to do. As the number of times she refined pills increased, this idea gradually became clearer. Although each medicinal formula specified the quantity of each herb, the quality of each herb was different. After the purification, it would directly affect the quality of the pills. If this problem was solved, the quality of the pills would be greatly improved. If there was a lack of any substance during the refinement process, would it not be fine to add the medicinal herb accordingly? Yun Chujo thought it was very simple, but when she actually did it, she realized that it was very difficult to find out which substance was lacking or in excess during the refinement process. Only when the final product was completed could she find out. Moreover, she would only discover it after personally tasting it. Yun Chujo simply stopped the refining process and stroked her chin as she thought of a solution. How about purifying the herbs separately? This way, the quality can be guaranteed. However, a pill formula involved several kinds of herb. It was too much of a waste of time to do this. If she could not see it with the naked eye, could she use her spiritual sense instead? Yun Chujo did it as she said. She added a set of ingredients for the hemostasis pill according to the ratio and started the refining process. During the process of refining, she carefully used her spiritual sense to sense the changes in the material inside. If others knew that Yun Chujo did this, they would definitely be terrified. The spiritual sense of a cultivator was extremely important. If it was damaged, it would require a 7th-grade spirit replenishing pill to repair it. The temperature inside the pill furnace was extremely high, and spiritual sense was very easy to be damaged. What Yun Chujo did was no different from suicide. However, Yun Chujo was completely fine. Her spiritual sense was nourished by the heat inside the pill furnace, and it was extremely comfortable. Chapter 202 was a monster. After Yun Chujo found that there was no danger, she began to use her spiritual sense to sense the changes of the herbs inside. Then, according to the degree of purification, she increased the amount of herbs accordingly. This set of pills is a little interesting. Why are there patterns on it? It's also fragrant. Yun Chujo took out a pill and muttered. Master, those patterns are the patterns of pills, the symbol of a supergrade pill. The rolling pin felt its entire being feeling off. Just what kind of monster did it acknowledge as its master? The 3rd round of pill refinement had a 60% success rate. Also, why did she eat the medicinal pill like candy, and nothing happened at all? She even jumped around even more joyfully. Then, she actually refined a transcendent-grade medicinal pill. On top of that, it even had a 100% success rate of pill refinement. Monster. She was a monster. No wonder little Huahua had left that verbal order. Putting everything else aside, just this talent in pill refinement did not disgrace little Wawa's status of having her as a true disciple. However, Yun Chujia's reaction was to throw the transcendent-grade pill, that was apparently very awesome, into her mouth. Smacking her lips, she said, "Yes, the taste is a little better than those high-grade pills." The grass in Yun Chujia's dantian also smelled the fragrance of the super-grade pills. It could not wait to affect Yun Chujia's thoughts and wanted to swallow the remaining super-grade hemostasis pills. Yun Chujio was really mean. She knew that it wanted those pills, but she did not swallow them. She chewed every single one of them before swallowing them. Humph. Although she could not get rid of it, it was still good to be sneaky. Tisk, so it turns out refining pills is so simple. Only transcendent-grade medicinal pills are challenging. I'll refine all these medicinal herbs so that I don't waste my 5 spirit stones. Oh no, including the array formation, it's already 6 spirit stones. Yun Chujio was afraid of wasting even one bit of time, so she began to refine the remaining medicinal herbs. The rolling pin shook. "Master, can you not be so stingy? The fiend has given you so many spirit stones. These 6 are just a drop in the bucket, right?" Yun Chujia's technique was extremely skillful now, and with the help of her spiritual sense, the pile of medicinal herbs quickly turned into a pile of supreme-grade hemostatic pills. The little grass in her dantian seemed to have eaten its fill and no longer sent her thoughts. Yun Chujio took out a few vegetable basins from her storage ring and casually piled these pills inside before storing them in her storage ring. The rolling pin trembled. Using vegetable basins to hold super-grade pills. "Master, in the whole of history, you're the first one to do this." Yun Chujio stretched her body and estimated the time. It should be the night of the next day. She should sleep until dawn before going out. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. Yun Chujio slept until dawn. She used her nose to sniff the air. There was still a very strong medicinal fragrance in the alchemy room. That was not good. She had to think of a way to cover it up. Yun Chujio took out a gauze to cover her face and shook out the few remaining medicinal herbs from the sack. Then, she took out a few pieces of cabbage, a few heads of garlic, and half a bag of chili noodles from her storage ring and stuffed them all into the alchemy furnace. She began to inject her spiritual power into it. Very soon, a choking, burning smell filled the room. Although Yun Chujio had taken precautions, she was still choked to the point of tears. She looked at the empty sack at the side and simply crushed some cabbage from her storage ring and stuffed it inside. Then, she put the spiritual stones on the isolation array into her storage bag and opened the door. A thick smoke accompanied by the choking smell immediately wafted through the air. Cough. 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 What is that awful smell? Achoo. Achoo. Who is refining this damn thing? It's choking me to death. Cough. Cough. Could it be a poison pill? Cough. Cough. It's choking me to death. Chapter 203, The Gigolo is at it again soon. Someone noticed that Yun Chujio was sneaking away. Achoo. It's Yun Chujio. She's the one who released the smoke. It came from her alchemy room. I knew it. Cough. Cough. How could someone make such a horrible thing? Cough. Cough. So it's the evil Yun Chujio who did it. Achoo. Achoo. She must be taking revenge on us. Achoo. Just because I said she was trash the day before yesterday. This Yun Chujio is really too evil. Cough. Cough. She's just messing around. Yun Chujio thought to herself, is it my fault? This is to wake you up. It's good enough that I'm not taking your money, okay? Yun Chujio hopped to the manager's room. Although the manager's room was quite far from the alchemy room number 13, the thick smoke affected the area. Manager Gao's coughing became even more serious. Yun Chujio felt a rare bit of guilt. She handed the jade token in her hand to Manager Gao. Manager Gao, I'm really sorry. My technique is really too bad. I've made 81 batches of pills and failed. I'll go back first. I'll come back in a few days. Manager Gao was so smitten that tears flowed down his face. He really wanted to shout, "Don't come back." Other people needed money to refine pills, but you need a person's life. Yun Chujio hopped out of the alchemy room and went to Little Black. She picked up the little black bird and returned to her dormitory. Yun Chujio had just entered the courtyard when she saw Di Baiming staring at her with a gloomy face. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. Why is this gigolo back so soon? And why is he pulling his donkey face? However, Yun Chujio, who already had a lot of experience dealing with enemies, immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Prince Charming. You're here. I was wondering why the magpies were chirping today. I was wondering what kind of happy event would happen. Turns out, it's you. This is really a happy event. When did you arrive? The corners of Feng and Yin's eyes twitched. Ninth Miss, please. This isn't the secular world. How can there be a common bird such as a magpie? Even if you're lying, you should show some sincerity, alright? However, Di Baiming was obviously very impressed by Yun Chujio's trick. His expression softened a little. This venerable self arrived last night. You didn't return for the whole night. Where did you go? I went to the alchemy room to refine medicine. Yun Chujio had a smug look on her face. Refine medicine? Didn't I give you the heaven and earth universal furnace? Why are you still going to the alchemy room? Besides, do you know how to refine medicine? Di Baiming raised his eyebrows with slight disdain. Yun Chujio immediately felt that her self-esteem had suffered a serious insult. She had long forgotten about keeping a low profile and pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Clang, clang, clang. She took out 3 large vegetable basins of medicinal pills from her storage ring and placed them on the ground. Yun Chujio put her hands on her waist and said smugly, "HMPH. You're looking down on me. Look at what this is. I used a whole day to refine these." Di Baiming's face stiffened. Only this black thing can make medicinal pills and put them in vegetable basins. Wait. Elixirs in 3 vegetable basins? There should be at least hundreds of them. They're all made by Black Thing. Didn't they say that alchemy was very difficult to learn? Didn't they say that one had to make thousands of elixirs before they could be successfully made? Didn't they say that the success rate of the first batch of elixirs was very low? How did the Black Thing make so many elixirs in just one day? Just as Di Baiming was deep in thought, Feng cried out in surprise, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Super grade! They're all super grade hemostatic elixirs. 3 big basins of super grade hemostatic elixirs." Yun Chujio tried to persuade herself over and over again, but she still felt that it was not enough, so she asked the two. Feng, do you think that I have a talent for pill refinement? Yin, is it difficult to refine supreme grade pills? Why do I feel that it's very simple? Do you think that with my talent, I can soon dominate the world? That. Ninth Miss. Your subordinate has gone to stand guard. Your subordinate has gone to stand guard too. Feng and Yin ran away as if they were escaping. Ninth Miss, it would be fine if you asked Our Excellency. Why did you ask us? His Excellency's eyes were cold. If we don't leave now, well, probably freeze to death. Yun Chujio touched her nose embarrassedly. Am I that scary? Why did they all run away? Prince Charming, don't you think I'm very powerful? Yun Chujio then remembered that there was still a gigolo behind her. Yes. My idol, when I refine pills in the future, I'll eat half and sell half. Will I become very rich? Yes. Chapter 205, was fooled. Seeing Di Baiming so cooperative, Yun Chujio was even more elated. She repeatedly praised herself in all sorts of ways. After a long time, Di Baiming faintly said, the level of pill refinement is directly related to the level of spiritual power. No matter how talented you are, you can only refine level 2 pills at the 3rd level of spirit enhancement. No matter how expensive level 2 pills are, you won't be able to make a fortune. After Di Baiming finished speaking, he walked into the house, leaving behind a dumbfounded Yun Chujio. Fuck. Gigolo, you did that on purpose. Why didn't you say that earlier? Why did you only say it after I gloated 13 times? Also, I'm at the 4th level spirit enhancement. Not the 3rd level. Yun Chujio's inflated self-confidence was slapped back to its initial state by Di Baiming. She dejectedly put the 3 basins of hemostasis pills into her storage ring, then squatted in the corner to fill up the mushrooms. Damned gigolo. He only knows how to bully me. If I can't beat him, I can hide. Humph. I've decided not to say a word to him. I'll suffocate him to death. Black thing, come in and have breakfast. Alright, I'm coming. Prince Charming, did you bring me good food again? You're such a good person. Yun Chujio hopped into the house while muttering softly. What she said just now was invalid, the gigolo was still not bad. After breakfast, Yun Chujio massaged Di Baiming's shoulder and said obsequiously, Prince Charming, do you have any extra spiritual beast bags? Give me one. I'll use it to store Little Black. Didn't I give you a lot of spiritual stones? Why don't you go buy one? Prince Charming, my taste is not as good as yours. What I bought is not as good as the one you gave me. Just give me one. Yun Chujio thought to herself, who would buy a spiritual beast bag when you can get one for free? Do you think I'm stupid? 1 hour. Di Baiming said lightly. Okay. Yun Chujio pressed his shoulders hard. She could get a spirit beast bag in 1 hour. Was that not a good deal? Yun Chujio massaged him for an hour and then stretched out her claws. My Prince Charming, it's been 1 hour. Give me the spirit beast pouch. Di Baiming looked at her. I only said that I'll let you massage for an hour. Did I promise to give you the spirit beast pouch? Yun Chujio was dumbfounded. Damn. She had always been the one who fooled others. She did not expect to be fooled by the gigolo. Damn it. It was really too damning. Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio puffing her cheeks in anger and thought it was very interesting. He poked Yun Chujio's face with his finger and laughed out loud as he walked out of the room. Yun Chujio was so angry that she was about to die. Gigolo, just you wait. It's not too late for me, little Joe, to take revenge. Sooner or later, I'll take back everything back, including the interest. I'll go to the library and come back at night. The more Yun Chujio thought about it, the angrier she got. She ran into the courtyard and said something before running out of the courtyard in a huff. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio's back and curled the corner of his mouth. It was quite fun when she was angry. Yun Chujio's anger came and went quickly. After a while, she bounced back again. Yun Chujio had been reading in the library the whole day. It was not until sunset that she hopped toward the dormitory. Junior sister Little Joe, I bought the medicinal herbs you asked me to buy for you. Let's go. I'll help you send them to your courtyard. Feng Ming chased after her excitedly. Yun Chujio opened her mouth and was about to stop him, but Feng Ming had already run to the courtyard's door. Junior sister little Joe, hurry up. I've even brought you a lot of snacks. We haven't seen each other for a few days and I have a lot to talk to you about. As soon as the miserable Feng Ming finished his sentence, he flew out like a kite. Chapter 206, I was wrong to be angry. Feng Ming was stunned by the fall. What happened? That's right. The same thing happened last time. Previously, he had also said a few words to junior sister little Jiu, and he fell for no reason. Feng Ming got up and looked around, but he did not find anything unusual. Yun Chujiu was 120% sorry. It must be the gigolo again. Poor senior brother Feng Ming, why did you run so fast? Why couldn't you wait for me to finish my sentence? Senior brother Feng Ming, did you trip and fall because you tripped on your left foot? Don't run so fast in the future. Yun Chujiu stared at him and lied. Feng Ming. Feng Ming's heart was broken. Junior sister little Jiu, did you do it on purpose? I, Feng Ming, already know how to ride a flying sword, why would I trip by myself? Are you kidding me? Feng Ming rubbed his nose and climbed up on his own. Yun Chujiu wanted to prevent Feng Ming from entering the courtyard, afraid that Di Baiming would do something, but Feng Ming just lifted his leg and entered the courtyard. Then, she looked around, but unfortunately, she found nothing except for Little Black perching on the tree. Feng Ming frowned. Did I really trip on my own? Senior brother Feng Ming, didn't you say that you bought medicinal herbs for me? Where are they? Yun Chujiu quickly interrupted when she saw Feng Ming looking around. Feng Ming took out a few gunny sacks from his storage bag. Junior sister little Jiu, why do you need so many medicinal herbs? I heard that the smoke from your pill refining caused the people in the pill refining room to choke. They are planning not to let you refine pills in the future. Let's see if they dare. If they dare to do that, it'll make their pill refining room never have a day of peace. Yun Chujiu finished speaking and happily flipped through the medicinal herbs that Feng Ming had brought back. These were all grade 1 and grade 2 medicinal ingredients. She would go and concoct a few more pots of them another day. There was a lot more this time round, so it would be better to use a rice bucket. Junior sister little Jiu, keep these pastries and candied fruits to eat. Feng Ming took out a few paper packets and handed them to Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu received them with a smile and placed them on the stone table. She started chatting casually with Feng Ming. Feng Ming felt a little cold and a little creeped out behind him. Feng Ming looked around suspiciously but did not even see a shadow. It was really strange. It was like the previous time. What was going on? Junior sister little Jiu, it's getting late. I'll go back first. I'll come and play with you another day. Feng Ming really could not hold on any longer. If he stayed any longer, he would probably be frozen into an ice sculpture. Goodbye, senior brother Feng Ming. Yun Chujiu waved her claws. She could not wait for Feng Ming to leave as soon as possible. It would be terrible if the gigolo got angry. Feng Ming walked away suspiciously. Di Baiming walked out of the house with a gloomy face. This grand disciple is really filial to you. He gave you both medicinal herbs and snacks. Di Baiming said as he waved his sleeve. The paper bag on the stone table instantly turned into a pile of dregs and scattered on the ground. Yun Chujiu was about to fly into a rage when she saw Di Baiming slowly taking out pastries, candied fruits, and spiritual fruits from his storage ring and placing them on the stone table. Are those things for humans to eat? Come, eat these instead. Yun Chujiu wanted to keep her integrity and resist the power, but she only lasted 0.01 seconds before eagerly leaning over. Prince Charming, you're absolutely right. There's no comparison. Compared to your good stuff, those are dregs. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Are you not angry with me anymore? If I don't give you the spirit beast pouch, would you still be angry? Prince Charming, it's wrong for me to be angry. You did me a favor. Not giving me anything is your duty. I've already taken so many good things from you, how can I be angry over a spirit beast pouch? Am I that calculative? Yun Chujia's face was full of righteousness. Chapter 207, Yun Chujia's love poems. Di Baiming curled the corners of his lips. Be good. Eat. Yun Chujio smacked her lips. Why did it feel like he was feeding a puppy? Di Baiming took out some food from his storage ring and placed it on the stone table. Yun Chujio immediately threw the puppy and kitten out of her mind and started eating happily. After dinner, Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Let's go in and practice writing. Yun Chujio really did not want to practice writing. What was the use of doing that stupid activity? Other than writing love letters, she did not need it at other times. If she had the time, she might as well lie down for a while. Yun Chujio dawdled, took 3 steps, and 2 steps back before reluctantly entering into the house. My idol, can I not practice? Practicing is useless except for writing love letters to you. Di Baiming curled his lips. Then write a love letter. Yun Chujio touched her head. Oh my. My Prince Charming, my head hurts all over. Di Baiming was speechless. I originally planned to give you a spirit beast pouch if you wrote well. Since your head hurts so much, then forget it. Di Baiming sighed. Oh my, why doesn't it hurt all of a sudden? My head doesn't hurt anymore, my Prince Charming. Love letters are so boring. Let me write you a love poem. Yun Chujio suddenly became lively from her previously long-faced expression. Yun Chujio was afraid that Di Baiming would go back on his words, so she quickly picked up the brush and started to write. Ah, my prince. Your temperament makes me intoxicated, your voice makes me cave. You are the snow on the high mountains, you are the sunset on the horizon, although it is unattainable, but it makes people yearn for it. I am willing to be the little rock on the mountain, I am willing to be the little bird in the sky, just so I can get closer and closer to you. Even if the wind, frost, snow, and rain have smoothed out my edges, even if the lightning, thunder, and thunder have cut off my feathers, I will have no regrets, and I will go forward bravely. Because, I love you so intensely. Just like how a fish yearns for the sea, just like how grass loves the land. Prince Charming, please let me say with deep affection, I love you. Yun Chujio blew on the ink and then said proudly, how is it? Isn't it written with great literary talent? It's both straightforward and deep. I'm really too talented. The reconciliation is not neat, and the words used are vulgar. However, seeing that you're still being serious, I'll just consider it as you passing the test. Although Di Baiming said so, he still carefully put the paper that had just dried the ink into his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujio with a spirit beast pouch. Yun Chujio happily took the spirit beast pouch and asked Di Baiming how to use it. Then, she ran outside and started experimenting with Little Black. The miserable Little Black was sometimes brought in and sometimes released. After being tortured for a total of 49 times, Yun Chujio finally had enough and was willing to enter the house. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. She had suffered a lot that day. She had to think of a way to reclaim her pride. Prince Charming, let's play chess. As usual, the loser sleeps on the ground. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Sure, 3 out of 5 wins. Yun Chujio was full of confidence. Last time, I was careless. This time, I must avenge myself. Dreams were often aspiring, but reality was not. Even though Yun Chujio was full of energy, she still lost 2 games in a row. The 3rd game began. Yun Chujio saw that Di Baiming's chess piece was already 4 in a row. She pretended to stagger and knocked over the chessboard. Oh my, I'm sorry. This game is ruined, we can only play again. Yun Chujo smiled like a little fox stealing a chicken. Let's see how you can beat me. Chapter 208, Dai Mosquito. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows but did not say anything. The battle started again. At the critical moment, Yun Chujo faked another fall and knocked over the chessboard. Ah, I might have eaten too much today. My brain is a little foggy, so I'm a little confused. Please forgive me. Yun Chujia's face was full of frustration, as if she had really knocked over the chessboard by accident. Di Baiming still raised his eyebrows and did not say anything. The new round began. Yun Chujo was at a disadvantage again. Seeing that Di Baiming was about to win again, she wanted to play the same trick again. Then, she sadly realized that she could not move anymore. Yun Chujo was so angry that she cursed in her heart. Shameless gigolo. He actually used a secret move. Di Baiming took a sip of tea and slowly put down the chess piece in his hand. You lost. After Yun Chujo found that she could move, she glared at Di Baiming fiercely and pretended to be relaxed. Humph. I lost on purpose. I like to sleep on the ground. Sleeping on the ground is more grounding. The bed is hard. I have slept enough. The corner of Di Baiming's mouth curled, and he simply washed up before lying on the bed. Yun Chujo finished washing up angrily and spread a few blankets on the ground before jumping on them. Ha! Look how fun it is. This is called a trampoline. You can't do that, right? Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujia's red face and had the urge to take a bite. He waved his sleeve to extinguish the candle of annoyance. Why are you jumping around in the middle of the night? Go to sleep. Yun Chujo pouted. What a crazy pretty boy. I'll jump. I'll piss you off. Yun Chujo jumped a few times. Seeing that Di Baiming had no reaction, she lay down dejectedly. I'm tired from jumping, I'm not afraid of you. After Yun Chujo cursed the gigolo dozens of times, she fell asleep sweetly. On the contrary, Di Baiming's mind was filled with Yun Chujia's rosy little face. He was not sleepy at all. Di Baiming gritted his teeth and got off the bed. He carried Yun Chujo to the bed and gently placed her on the side of the bed. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujia's sweet sleeping face and his heart skipped a beat. The black thing seemed to have turned a lot paler. The originally tan skin color covered the delicate facial features. Now that it had turned a little fairer, the delicate facial features slowly become more prominent, especially those pink lips. Di Baiming's throat tightened. He bent down and slowly moved his lips closer to Yun Chujia's lips. Then, pa. Scram. Damn mosquito. In her sleep, Yun Chujo gave Di Baiming a tight slap. Di Baiming's mind was filled with lust, but he was sent flying by this slap. This was the first time Di Baiming had been slapped by someone. He gritted his teeth and glared at Yun Chujo for a while before lying outside angrily. The next morning, Yun Chujo opened her eyes. After stretching her body, she giggled happily, "Idol, I had a dream last night. I slapped a big mosquito to death." Huh. Idol, why is there a slap mark on your face? Di Baiming glared at her but did not say anything. Yun Chujo used her right hand to measure the slap mark on his face before covering her mouth. Fuck. I actually slapped the gigolo last night. Waha, this is so awesome. Why didn't I kill him with one slap? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and decided to change the topic so that the gigolo would not flip out. Prince Charming, the weather today is pretty good. Don't stay in the yard. Don't you have a concealment talisman? Stick it on and it'll bring you to the back of the mountain. It's not easy to get a concealment talisman. How can you waste it like this? Di Baiming said stiffly. However, after the two of them had breakfast, Di Baiming still frowned and activated the concealment talisman. He followed Yun Chujo who was jumping up and down in front of him. Chapter 209, The Stick Has No Hope of Survival. Biming looked at Yun Chujio, who was picking wild fruits, and felt that his head must have been kicked by a spirit beast. Not only was the concealment talisman expensive, it was also hard to buy with spirit stones. He actually wasted a concealment talisman just like that. Black thing, didn't I give you a lot of spirit fruits? Why are you still picking wild fruits? Biming saw that there was no one around and said in a low voice. Each flavor has its own merits, just like meat and vegetables. Although vegetables are not as delicious as meat, you still have to eat some vegetables. Yun Chujio said as she stuffed a wild fruit into Biming's mouth. Biming frowned and tasted it. Although the taste was not as good as the spiritual fruits, it was still sour and sweet. Yun Chujio tilted her small head and asked proudly, "Do you think it's okay? I'm telling you, this mountain is full of treasures. Not only are there wild fruits, there are also wild sweet potatoes. After being roasted, they're soft and sweet. It's really delicious. Look, there's a bush over there." Yun Chujio hopped over and started to dig with the rolling pin. The rolling pin was about to cry. It was an immortal item. It was an immortal item. It was an immortal item. She actually used it to dig for sweet potatoes? It was really insulting. How did it end up with such a master? The rolling pin suddenly felt that there was no hope. Yun Chujio had just put the wild sweet potatoes that she dug into her storage ring when Little Black said in her mind, "Master, there's a level 2 gale deer in front." Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. She had not eaten venison before, so she could hunt it to satisfy her craving. Yun Chujio carefully approached the place that Little Black had mentioned. Sure enough, there was a gale deer eating grass. Biming wanted to see Yun Chujio's skills, so he stood aside and did not intend to interfere. Yun Chujio also wanted to show off, so she swaggered in front of the gale deer. The gale deer was shocked at first and prepared to run away, but after discovering that Yun Chujio was an ordinary person without any spiritual power, the gale deer showed off by digging the ground with its front hooves, hoping to scare Yun Chujio away. Yun Chujio sighed, "I don't want to eat you either, but I'm hungry. This is a world where the strong prey on the weak. Take this." Yun Chujio suddenly raised her hand, and a bolt of lightning shot straight at the gale deer. The gale deer was completely unprepared. Moreover, demonic beasts were naturally fearful of lightning, and it had struck directly on the gale deer's head. The gale deer let out a miserable cry. It actually died from both pain and fright. Yun Chujio was stunned. It could not take a hit. It choked on its fart with one move. She still wanted to show off a little more. Biming was also stunned. This gale deer was at the early stage of the second stage, which was equivalent to a cultivator at the 4th level of spirit enhancement, but the black thing actually destroyed it with one move. If the opponent was a cultivator, would the black thing be able to challenge someone of a higher level? The gap between the cultivation levels was like a ravine. There were very few people who could challenge someone of a higher level. Could the black thing really do it? Yun Chujio did not know what Biming was thinking. The only thing on her mind was roasted deer meat. She put the gale deer into her storage ring and hopped back. "Prince Charming, let's go. Let's go back and roast the deer meat." As soon as Biming and Yun Chujio entered the courtyard, an Een rushed up and greeted, "Your Excellency." Yun Chujio was very tactful. She knew that an Een had something to do, so she said, "Idle, you two can talk inside. An Fong and I will deal with the deer meat." Biming nodded and entered the house. An Een followed him in. It was not until the aroma of the roasted meat spread that Biming and an Een came out. "Black thing, I need to leave for a period of time. It'll be at least half a year, and at most a year. Take these voice transmission talismans. Once you use them, you can only use them again after 3 days. Also, keep this jade pendant well. It can withstand a fatal blow from a 9th-level spiritual sovereign realm cultivator. In the Azure Mystic Continent, it's enough to save your life once. Also, keep these 3 concealment talismans. As long as you're careful, no one below the 5th level of the spiritual sovereign realm will discover you. However, there's a 2-hour time limit. After I leave, try not to leave the Spirit Radiance sect. Don't cause any trouble, and don't come into contact with people who aren't trustworthy. At that point, Di Baiming gritted his teeth as he spoke. That bird may be ugly, but his character is not bad. If you have anything to do, try to get him to do it. However, you must remember that you're an elder. Don't have any thoughts that you shouldn't have. Chapter 210, Aren't you going to marry him in the future? Yun Chujia's heart was bursting with joy. This is great. The gigolo is finally going to get lost. From now on, I'll be free. My Prince Charming, don't worry. I'll never leave the house. I'll be a good and virtuous girl. So, shouldn't you leave some currency for my living expenses? Di Baiming was originally a little sad about leaving, but he was angered by Yun Chujia's words. Didn't I give you a lot last time? Why do you need so many spirit stones if you don't leave Spirit Radiance sect? If you stay good this time, I will give you more next time. Di Baiming was afraid that Yun Chujio would go out and show off when she had money, so he rejected her flatly. Yun Chujio pouted her lips. Such a stingy gigolo. All right. Then bring me more delicious food next time when you come, especially those petal-shaped pastries, and those glutinous rice fruits, and, Yun Chujio counted more than 10 kinds of food with her fingers. Di Baiming's remaining half of the sorrow was also gone. The thing she had been thinking about this whole time was either his spirit stones or his food. He was not in her heart at all. Yun Chujio noticed that Di Baiming's face was getting darker and darker. She changed the topic and said, Prince Charming, give me a porcelain bottle. I'll drain some of my blood to save it for you so that the poison won't take effect. If you suffer, my heart will hurt. I would rather bleed myself than let you suffer, Prince Charming. Di Baiming's mood immediately turned from dark clouds to bright and sunny. He handed a porcelain bottle to Yun Chujio and said, just a little bit will do. I can withstand it. No, my Prince Charming, just drink it. It's okay for me to give you more. I'll just eat more delicious food and it'll make up for it. Yun Chujio was in a great mood. As long as the gigolo did not disturb her, what was there to be afraid of? She just took it as a voluntary blood donation. Yun Chujio did not care about Di Baiming's objection and filled a whole porcelain bottle of blood. However, Di Baiming mistakenly thought that Yun Chujio was worried that his cold poison would act up. He was so touched that he decided to finish his business as soon as possible to return to see the black thing. Although their understanding of each other was a little off, both of them were in a very good mood. After happily eating roast meat, Di Baiming left with an Feng and an Yin. When they reached a quiet place, Di Baiming stopped in his tracks. An Feng, although Black Thing has a temperamental personality, she shouldn't be in danger in Spirit Radiance sect because of Patriarch Linghua's words. If she wants to leave, you must think of a way to stop her. If you can't stop her, you must protect her every step of the way. Your Excellency, I'll protect Miss Jiu with my life. If anything happens to her, I'm willing to pay with my life. Di Baiming nodded and left with an Yin. An Feng carefully returned to Yun Chujia's courtyard and found a hidden place to secretly protect Yun Chujio. At this time, Yun Chujio was eating with Little Black and the rolling pin. The gigolo is finally gone. You two weren't full just now, were you? Come, continue eating. Today is a good day, I can do whatever I want, Yun Chujio happily hummed a song. Little Black rolled his eyes. Master, why don't you ask the gigolo what he's doing? Tisk, I'm not asking. The more I know, the faster I'll die. When the gigolo's cold poison is cured, I'll break up with him. I don't believe that he can kill me, his savior. Yun Chujio leaned back on the rattan chair and crossed her legs, feeling very uncomfortable. The little silver dragon asked in confusion, Master, don't you love pretty boy very much? Aren't you going to marry him in the future? Chapter 211, Yun Chujio, do not care. Yun Chujio sneered mockingly. Marry him. Do you think that the identity of a gigolo is simple? And Feng and an Yin kept saying, Your Majesty and, your Qingxian continent. Obviously, the three of them are not from Qingxian continent. Perhaps, they're from the continent after the ascendance of a mighty figure. Putting aside the fact that our identities are so different, if I really liked someone, I wouldn't be afraid of some bullshit identity. Most importantly, do you think that the gigolo really likes me? The silver dragon was still confused. I think the gigolo treats you quite well, master. He gave you spirit stones and a ring. Yun Chujio sighed. Little flame, you're so naive. Do you think that giving me something is love? I admit that the gigolo may have a good impression of me, but that was just curiosity and fun. It's like playing with a kitten or a puppy. If I go along with him, he will give me things. Once I do something that goes against his will, he'll turn against me. Do you think true love is like that? Between us, he's more like a master, while I'm more like a servant girl. It's possible that he'll still be a servant girl who warms his bed in the future. Ha! And Feng once said that the gigolo would take me as his concubine in the future. Concubine? This is simply a joke. How can I, Yun Chujio, become the exclusive property and plaything of a gigolo? I, Yun Chujio, don't care about a man who is shared with others. When Yun Chujio said this, her mood dimmed. The pretty boy is so good-looking. I'm more or less tempted, but love is something that can't be easily ventured into. If it's not done right, I'll burn you to the ground. I want to be able to cross 100 flowers and not touch a single leaf. Moreover, I'm still young. My task now is to work hard to become stronger and bring the two of you to the peak of life. Life as a bird, and life as a stick. Although Yun Chujio said it in a free and easy manner, she still felt a little stifled in her heart, so she decided to go to the pill refining room to refine pills. Yun Chujio found old Huang and went to a few more classes. After greeting Yun Chuzi, she carried a big sack on her back and rushed to the pill refining room valiantly. When Manager Gao saw Yun Chujio coming over, his heart started beating faster. Why was this little ancestor there again? The poisonous smoke last time had caused them a lot of trouble. Manager Gao thought for a moment and gave Yun Chujio the jade token for alchemy room number 28. Since alchemy room number 28 was at the edge, even if there was poisonous smoke, it would not affect the rooms toward the inside. Yun Chujio entered alchemy room number 28 and immediately opened the isolation array. Then, she began to refine the second-grade medicinal pill, hemostasis pill. The pill was slightly more effective than the previous ones. The medicinal herbs required were also slightly higher in grade. With the help of her spiritual sense, Yun Chujio produced 10 supergrade hemostasis pills in the first batch. The strange grass in her dantian smelled the fragrance and immediately clamored to eat. Yun Chujio was not in the mood to deal with it and instantly swallowed all 10 pills. After a while, the little black bird suddenly flew to Yun Chujio's shoulder and rubbed against it repeatedly. Master! Master! The fragrance on your body is too good. Yun Chujio pulled the little black bird away. Get lost. Can't you see that I'm busy? I didn't put on any fragrant powder, so where would the fragrance come from? Little flame, do you smell it? The rolling stick shook. No. I only smell the medicinal pill. Little Black glared at it with its pizzazed eyes and shouted, That's because your nose isn't working. There's clearly a very fragrant smell. Yun Chujo thought Little Black was deliberately causing trouble, so she ignored it and continued to refine the blood coagulation pill. Little Black flapped its short wings angrily and flew to the side. There's obviously a very nice smell. Why didn't Master believe me? Chapter 212. The spirit bee went crazy. Yun Chujo refined day and night, refining all the herbs that Feng Ming had brought for her into medicinal pills. Since there were so many of them, this fellow used a useless things to fill the pill. The rolling pin and Little Black were dumbfounded. From ancient times until now, only their unruly master dared to use pointless materials to fill the pill. As usual, Yun Chujo packed a bunch of miscellaneous things into the pill refining furnace, causing thick smoke to billow out. Only then did she withdraw the isolation array and rush out from the pill refining room with a sack of cabbages used as a cover. Cough. 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 It's that damn Yun Chujo again. I'm choking to death. Cough. 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 I must report this to Elder Chi and forbid this tan girl from coming to the alchemy room in the future. Achoo. Achoo. This Yun Chujo is really full of bad ideas. She clearly doesn't know how to refine pills, yet she has to come here to cause trouble. It's too detestable. Yun Chujia's mood inexplicably became a little better. She hummed a little tune as she went to Manager Gao and returned the jade token to him. Then, she said with a smile, "I'll come back in a few days. This time, I brought a little less medicinal herbs. Next time, I'll bring more." Manager Gao was about to cry. How is this less? If you brought more, this alchemy room would not be able to serve other people. Yun Chujo carried the sack on her back and left the alchemy room. She did not sleep the whole night, but did not feel tired at all. Instead, she felt very energetic. Not long after she walked out, she heard a buzzing sound. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Yun Chujo frowned. What was that sound? Master, master. Run. Little Black cried out in alarm. Yun Chujo was shocked. What's wrong? Little Black pointed to the west and saw a large group of spiritual bees flying toward Wu Yun like a big cloud. Yun Chujo pursed her lips. These spiritual bees must be going to some mountain to gather honey. What does it have to do with us? Before Yun Chujo could finish her sentence, the spiritual bees at the front were flying toward her. Yun Chujo was so scared that she cried out. She did not want question anymore and started to run away. Little Black, what's going on? Why are these damn spiritual bees attacking me? Master, I think it has something to do with the fragrance on your body. Master, why don't I set fire to them? No. There are so many of them. Before you finish burning them, I'd be stung and turned into a nest already. Yun Chujo said as she ran. Master, what should we do? These spiritual bees are very poisonous. If we get stung too many times, we'll lose our lives. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. She put the Little Black into her spirit beast pouch and quickly ran toward the pill refining room. This fellow shouted as she ran, "Help! Help! The spirit bees have gone crazy." The two disciples guarding the door were shocked. They saw a large group of spirit bees chasing after Yun Chujo. What was going on? Although the spirit bees had a certain degree of offensive power, these spirit bees of the Spirit Radiance sect were all domesticated and rarely attacked disciples. Why did such a large group of them suddenly attack Yun Chujo? While the two disciples were still in a daze, Yun Chujo rushed over like a small whirlwind. As she ran, she shouted, "Run! The spirit bees are crazy." The two disciples did not dare to be negligent and quickly followed Yun Chujo into the house. Then, they closed the door tightly. The spirit bees seemed to be risking their lives as they desperately crashed into the doors and windows. It seemed that they would not stop until they came in. Yun Chujio kept patting her chest. Oh my God. I was scared to death. I was so scared to death. Why are these spirit bees going crazy? The people in the alchemy room also ran over when they heard the noise. They were all dumbfounded. Manager Gao said in surprise, "These spirit bees are three-colored butterfly-winged bees. They would have been raised by servants. Why are they attacking cultivators for no reason? It's really strange." Chapter 213, The Demon Beasts also went crazy. Yun Chujio said innocently, "Yeah, it's really strange. Luckily I ran fast, or I would have died." Manager Gao frowned and took out a few porcelain bottles from his storage bag. Then, he turned around and said to the workers, "The inside of the porcelain bottles is an insect-repellent powder. Crack the window ajar and sprinkle the powder out." The workers carefully threw the insect-repellent powder out. The spirit bees reluctantly retreated a distance, but they were still unwilling to leave. Just when everyone was puzzled, a disciple exclaimed, "Look! Heavens! Could it be that the demon beasts are also rebelling?" Everyone looked in the direction that the disciple pointed at and gasped. They saw some low-level demon beasts, such as the wind-blade rabbit, red-feathered chicken, and gale deer, which originally lived in the back of the mountain, rushing toward the alchemy room. Seeing that the situation was getting serious, Manager Gao quickly activated the protective array of the pill refining room and ran to get Elder Qi. Manager Gao did not walk far before he met Elder Qi. Elder Qi's face was gloomy. "Why did you activate the protective array? What happened?" "Elder Qi, the situation is very strange. First, a large group of spirit bees attacked Yun Chujio for no reason, and now a large group of demon beasts are rushing toward our pill refining room. Could it be that a disciple has refined beast guiding powder?" Elder Qi frowned. "I've never heard of anyone refining beast guiding powder. Moreover, the back mountain is still quite a distance away from here. Even beast guiding powder doesn't have such great power." Manager Gao said in puzzlement. "Could it be that a beast tide is going to erupt?" Elder Qi's expression was solemn. If a beast tide really erupted ahead of time, it would be a major matter that concerned all the living beings in the world. When Elder Qi arrived at the forefront of things, he discovered that those low-level demonic beasts were like moths fluttering to the flame, desperately striking the array formation. Even if they were injured, they would not stop. Elder Qi was very puzzled. Something was not right. Even if it was a beast tide, these demonic beasts would not be so crazy. What exactly was going on? What everyone did not know was that at the same time, in the spirit beast garden on the western peak, all the demonic beasts began to become restless, constantly striking the array formation. If the array formation was not firm, those demonic beasts would definitely charge out. The beasts at the other 5 peaks and the spirit bees in the herb garden were also rapidly heading toward the pill refining room. The disciples of the Sprit Radiance sect were all dumbstruck. What was going on? Weren't these low-level demon beasts very timid? Why did they all run out from the back of the mountain? After receiving the report, Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters quickly arrived outside the pill refining room at Middle Peak. The spiritual bees and demonic beasts were afraid of their high level of spiritual power, so they did not attack them. Instead, they kept attacking the protective array of the pill refining room. After forcing back a portion of the demonic beasts, Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters entered the pill refining room and began to ask Elder Qi about the situation. Seeing that the situation was getting worse, Yun Chujio felt a little uneasy. Seeing that no one was paying attention to her, she sneaked to a corner and began to look inside her dantian. When Yun Chujio saw the situation inside her dantian, she was so angry that she wanted to bang her head against the wall. She saw that the leaves of the weird grass were like a human's finger, continuously pulling and pulling. It was very likely that those demonic beasts were attracted by it. The grass noticed Yun Chujia's spiritual sense and shook it proudly, showing off a little. You better stop right now. Otherwise, don't even think about eating pills in the future. Yun Chujio was anxious and directly said with her spiritual sense. She thought that the weird grass did not understand, but she did not expect that the weird would really stop moving. Chapter 214, Elder Qi went crazy too. Yun Chujio was stunned. Did this damn grass really understand me? Yun Chujio used her spiritual sense to comfort it. Be good and listen to me. There are a lot of supergrade blood coagulation pills in my storage ring. They're all yours. In the future, I'll refine even higher grade pills. As long as you don't cause trouble, they're all yours. The weird grass waved its leaves a few times in a decent manner. It should mean that it agreed. Yun Chujia's heart felt as if 10,000 divine beasts were whizzing past it. Damn it, what exactly was growing in her dantian? How was this just grass? It was fucking smarter than a human. Yun Chujio retracted her spiritual sense and sneakily walked out from the corner. She heard a disciple shouting, "Huh! Those demonic beasts have stopped attacking the array formation. Yeah, look at those in the distance. They've turned around and ran back." Yun Chujio moved forward to take a look. She saw that those demonic beasts had a confused look on their faces. They seemed to not understand how they had ran all the way there. After looking at their surroundings, they all ran away. These demonic beasts came quickly and retreated even faster. In a short while, they had all disappeared without a trace. Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters were confused. What was going on? Everyone discussed for a while but could not find the reason. They could only send their disciples to the mountains to inspect if there was anything unusual. Yun Chujio saw that Master Xianyuan and the others had left. Just as she was about to sneak away, Elder Qi coughed and said, "Yun Chujio, come here. I have something to ask you." Yun Chujia's heart tightened. Could she have been discovered? Did she give herself away? Yun Chujio nervously followed Elder Qi into Manager Gao's house. Ding Lang and the others winked at each other with gloating expressions on their faces. They also followed in. Elder Qi did not stop them and allowed everyone to enter the house. "Yun Chujio, I heard that every time you refine pills, you would create a house full of poisonous smoke. What are you trying to do? Don't go to the pill refining room to cause trouble in the future." Ding Lang had often whispered in Elder Qi's ear, so not only did he say that Yun Chujio had wasted the resources of the pill refining room, he had even created the matter of the poisonous smoke to cause trouble. When Yun Chujio heard this, she immediately felt relieved. So it's this matter. Then it would be easy to handle. Elder Qi. You're being wronged. It's a 1,000-year-old injustice. Although I don't have spiritual power, I'm still a good child who has self-respect and ambition. I admire Elder Qi's achievements in refining pills very much. If we were to talk about who I admire the most in Spirit Radiance sect, it would be you, Elder Qi. An alchemist. What a sacred profession. I just wanted to give it a try. What if I succeed? I didn't expect that someone would maliciously slander me. I've only burned the herbs. Do you need to slander me for making poisonous smoke? If it's poisonous smoke, why is everyone alive and kicking? Not a single one of them died. Ding Lang and the others by the side nearly vomited blood from anger. It turned out that only their deaths could prove that she had made poisonous smoke. Elder Qi was not too upset. Firstly, Yun Chujia's words were very agreeable to him, and secondly, he had always liked hard-working disciples. He pondered for a moment. Haste makes waste. Since you like refining pills so much, you can use your free time to help me take care of my spirit herb garden. Ding Lang and the others simply could not believe their ears. What? Not only did he not punish Yunchujo, he actually asked her to help take care of the spirit herb garden. Elder Chi's herb garden grew high-grade spirit herbs, and Elder Chi had always taken care of it himself. Even personal disciples like Ding Lang were not allowed to enter and leave as they pleased. Who would have thought that Yunchujo, this trash, would actually help take care of it? Could it be that Elder Chi, like those demonic beasts, had gone crazy? Chapter 215, Fattened Pigs. Of course, Elder Chi was not crazy. He remembered that during the lecture previously, even though Yunchujo was not paying attention, her answers to the questions were very accurate. He planned to take the opportunity to observe and see what was going on. Yunchujo did not expect that Elder Chi would actually make such a request. After thinking about it, she happily agreed. Firstly, she could get close to Elder Chi and see if she could catch Ding Lang. Secondly, she could learn more about medicinal herbs. There was a difference between what was recorded on the jade slip and what was actually done. Yunchujo originally wanted to follow Elder Chi directly to the spirit herb garden. However, when she thought of the sacks that she had thrown away in a panic, she decided that it would be better to pick them up first. It was not that she felt sorry for the sacks of cabbage, but she was afraid that they would be exposed. After greeting Elder Chi, Yunchujo hopped out of the pill refining room. When she arrived at the place where the sacks were thrown away, Yunchujo was overjoyed. When the large group of demon beasts left just now, they coincidentally tore the sacks into pieces. The cabbage inside had long been eaten up by the wind blade rabbits and the likes. There were only some fragments of the sacks on the ground. Yunchujo pulled the sacks of fragments together and put them into her storage ring, then went to look for Elder Huang. When Elder Huang heard that Elder Chi asked Yunchujo to help take care of the herb garden, he was instantly overjoyed. Without waiting for Yunchujo to say anything, he took the initiative and said, "You don't have to worry about the big kitchen. Just go to Elder Chi's place. If you perform well, Elder Chi might be able to cure your problem of not being able to cultivate." "Thank you, Elder Huang. I'll definitely do a good job. I won't let you lose face." Yunchujo then thought to herself, "I can cultivate even without his treatment." Elder Huang could not help but nod his head. He then specially instructed, "I heard that Elder Chi's spirit herb garden is filled with high-grade herbs. Every single one of them is expensive. You must be careful and not cause any trouble." "Elder Huang, don't worry. I'm the most obedient. How could I possibly cause any trouble?" Yunchujo said with a smile. "That's good. That's good." The two of them chatted for a while more before Yunchujo bade farewell and returned to her own courtyard. Yunchujo was very depressed. She felt that there were traces of the gigolo everywhere. He had sat on the stone bench before, and he had also used this stone table before. There were also memories of the gigolo everywhere in the house. Yunchujo walked around the house in frustration. She recited a few times that empty space was lust, and death was emptiness. Then, she sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. The grass in her dantian kept releasing the power of lightning. Yunchujo used it for herself after cultivating. This way, her cultivation speed would be much faster. Yunchujo felt that she would be able to break through again very soon. However, Yunchujo always felt that she was a pig and was being fattened by someone. When she was fat enough, she would be slaughtered for the new year. Therefore, she desperately wanted to become stronger. Only by becoming stronger did she have the possibility of controlling her fate. Early the next morning, Yunchujo hopped into the alchemy room. Manager Gao's head hurt when he saw Yunchujo. He always felt that this little ancestor would stir up some trouble whenever she came. Although the demon beast riot the day before was not conclusive, he somehow felt that it was related to this little girl. Manager Gao felt that he was thinking too much. She was just a little girl without spirit energy. He must be thinking too much. "Good morning, Manager Gao." Are you too happy to see me? We can see each other more often in the future. Ha ha ha. The corner of Manager Gao's mouth twitched. I'll take you to see Elder Qi. The two of them passed through the alchemy room and walked some distance before they saw a thatched cottage. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. This Elder Qi was too stingy. Did he not say that alchemists were the richest? Why did he have such dilapidated accommodation? Chapter 216, I want to eat grass. Yun Chuzhou quickly realized that she had made a huge mistake. After entering, she realized that there was an illusion array set up, and there was another world inside. Other than Elder Qi's own courtyard, there was a large spiritual herb garden behind. The outer area was planted with some low-grade profound rank herbs, and the small courtyard in the middle was the spiritual herb garden. The herbs planted inside were all above middle-grade black category herbs, and there was no lack of earth-grade herbs among them. Manager Gao sent him off and turned to leave. Elder Qi threw a jade slip to Yun Chuzhou. Memorize the contents first, then I'll come find you. After saying that, Elder Qi went into the house. He thought to himself, this jade slip recorded 100 volumes of medicinal herbs. The black girl would need at least a few days to memorize them, which would just dampen her spirit. An hour later, Yun Chuzhou stood outside the house and shouted, Elder Qi. Elder Qi. I've memorized them. Elder Qi walked out with a frown. Nonsense. It's only been an hour, what can you remember? Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. But, I've really memorized them all. Good. Good. Then I'll test you. If you lie to me, you're not allowed to come again in the future. Elder Qi felt that Yun Chuzhou must be lying, and he was very displeased. Yun Chuzhou straightened her small body and looked very confident. Elder Qi became even angrier when he saw her. He asked, what is the companion beast of the Daphne ceracea? The gold-hooped short-tailed snake. How many petals does the red peony have? 16 petals below 100 years old, and 2 more petals every 100 years. What is the companion beast of the Corydalus yenhusuo? To be precise, it should be called a companion insect. It's a scarlet bee flying ant. Elder Qi asked more than 20 questions in one breath, and Yun Chuzhou answered them all very accurately. Have you read this 100 volumes of medicinal herbs before? Elder Qi asked suspiciously. Elder Qi, to be honest, although my aptitude is a little useless, I can remember everything I see and hear. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. She had her own thoughts, if I didn't show any unusual abilities, Elder Qi might not be able to keep me. I'd better show a snippet. Sure enough, Elder Qi sized up Yun Chuzhou in surprise and said with a sigh, it seems that the saying is good. The heavens won't starve a blind sparrow to death. Your ability is really strange. The corner of Yun Chuzhou's eyes twitched. Why did she feel that this metaphor made things awkward? Alright, since you've remembered it, I'll take you to the spirit herb garden. I'll explain some things to you on the spot. Elder Qi loved talent and he felt that Yun Chuzhou's ability was indeed rare. Although she did not have spiritual power, she could still be a little medicine girl if she had the ability. Just as they entered the outer perimeter of the spirit herb garden, the strange grass in Yun Chuzhou's dantian was clamoring to pounce on those medicinal herbs. Yun Chuzhou was so angry that she used her spiritual sense to curse, you better fucking stop. There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future. Only then did the strange grass in her dantian stop a little, but it faintly revealed a displeased expression. Strange grass. Yun Chuzhou was puzzled. Although that strange grass could not speak, she could faintly sense some of its emotions. The level of the medicinal herbs in the outer area isn't too high. You only need to take care of them according to the 100 volumes of medicinal herbs. I have carefully gathered all the medicinal herbs in the spirit herb garden. You must take care of them according to the method I taught you. You must not act on your own initiative. If anything goes wrong, I won't forgive you. Elder Qi said very seriously. At this moment, Yun Chuzhou was about to go crazy from the strange grass torture in her dantian. The emotions that she had just suppressed began to churn again. She wanted nothing more than to pounce on those high-level herbs and take a few bites. Chapter 217, The Thief Who Stole the Spirit Herbs. Yun Chuzhou cursed angrily, "Listen, strange grass, if you continue to show off, it'll cut open my stomach right now. I don't believe that if I throw away my dantian, I still won't be able to get rid of you." The strange grass was stunned for a moment, then its two leaves drooped down and finally stopped. Elder Qi saw Yun Chuzhou's small face and thought that she was afraid, thus, he comforted her. "As long as you strictly follow my instructions, I won't mistreat you. Although you don't have spiritual power, you can still live for a few more decades by taking some life-extending pills." Yun Chuzhou came back to her senses and laughed dryly. "Elder Qi, I'll definitely take good care of these herbs. Don't worry." Elder Qi nodded and gave her a few more instructions. He handed Yun Chuzhou a jade token before leaving. After Elder Qi left, the strange grass in her dantian started to act up again. It kept shouting that it wanted to eat those high-grade herbs. Yun Chuzhou sneakily looked around before walking to the most plentiful herb. She carefully tore off a leaf and wolfed it down. The grass in her dantian happily held the leaf and chewed it. "This is the only time. It won't happen again." "Elder Qi knows the number of spirit herbs in this spirit herb garden," Yun Chuzhou said as her eyes lit up. There were a few high-grade herbs in the spirit herb garden, but there were no low-grade black-grade herbs in the outer area. There were herbs in there that could be used to refine spirit-gathering pills. She might as well secretly put some into her storage ring every day. Then, when she reached the 5th level of spirit enhancement, she could refine spirit-gathering pills. It just so happened that she could help fourth brother and the others with their cultivation. Thus, Yun Chuzhou secretly picked a few herbs every day and hid them in her storage ring. She knew very well that she could not just pick one leaf, so she picked 2 leaves and 1 flower. In addition, Elder Qi did not pay much attention to these outer area spirit herbs. A month had passed and Yun Chuzhou's storage ring had already accumulated nearly 2 sacks of herbs. In order to prevent the strange grass in her dantian from causing trouble, Yun Chuzhou would swallow a bunch of super-grade blood coagulation pills before going to the herb garden. After the strange grass was full, its reaction would be less intense when it saw high-grade herbs again. On this day, Yun Chuzhou had just arrived at Elder Qi's courtyard. His expression was solemn as he instructed Yun Chuzhou, "The earth-grade, high-quality golden thread grass fruit in the spirit herb garden will ripen today. I have urgent matters to attend to, otherwise, I would personally take care of this. You must guard it at all times. Once the fruit turns from red to purple, immediately put it into this jade box." Yun Chuzhou nodded. "Elder Qi, don't worry. I'll guard it at all times." Elder Qi reminded her a few more times before he left in a hurry. Yun Chuzhou did not dare to be negligent. She took out a few pills from her storage ring and swallowed them to prevent the strange grass from causing trouble. Only then did she enter the spirit herb garden and find the golden thread grass. She sat on the ground and stared intently at its fruit. Seeing that the red fruit was slowly turning purple, Yun Chuzhou took out the jade box. Just as she was about to put the fruit into the jade box, the fruit mysteriously disappeared. Yun Chuzhou was stunned. What was going on? Hey! Which shameless person stole the fruit? What kind of brave soul is hiding himself? If you have the ability to do this, get out here. Yun Chuzhou was trying her best to do her job. No thief would take the initiative to show up. Unexpectedly, after Yun Chuzhou shouted, a deep and seductive voice said, "You're quite brave. No wonder the immortal item recognized you as its master." You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.